What I really like is that window management rectangle pro,
Oh yeah, that's good stuff.
and then you can set up pre-saved like arrangements.
Hmm.
So you just hit a keyboard shortcut and all your windows move to. What I really like is that
Yep,
it's
it's
really,
cool.
really,
Oh
really
yeah,
nice.
good stuff.
And then you can set up pre-saved like
Why am I getting it?
arrangements.
Oh, the YouTube stream started. I was like, why am I hearing Josh twice? What the heck?
Yeah,
I can only take one Josh, not
just one
two.
man.
Man.
Too Josh, too furious, too much for y'all, man.
Yep. Too fast for y'all. Oh, I got other people. I got other people that join in here. Okay. Sweet. Lots of pretty big update, actually. You know, I said I was going to stop adding features to Total CMS and get this thing shipped. And here I added like 20 new features. Like, what the heck?
That's absolutely fine. We were promised Total
I have,
CMS 3 2 years ago. So what's
I,
another
I
20
have
features?
problems.
That's
What's
okay.
another 2, 3,
Yeah,
4?
exactly.
Eh.
Okay. I guess let's get cooking. I was hoping to have like 20 minutes before this call to kind of prep and get my ducks in a row, but I didn't. So
Now everything's just quacked.
let
Doesn't
me
even
let
share
me bring up the
screen on.
release notes to kind of remind me. Just curious. I've been doing for Total CMS at least. I've been doing like really technical, detailed release notes. Do you guys like that, or is it just like whatever?
I haven't even read them.
Sorry, sorry about that.
I
I just like
appreciate the honesty at least.
Well, it's
I know
because
some people have read them, so it's
you
interesting.
usually tell
I
me
read
what's in, tell us, and so like I kind of know what's going on.
I read them
dangerous.
and I still missed one of the important things, So
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yep. Yep.
I always read them, Joe.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I know why you read them though, Bill. Because you're finding all the bugs and you're like, did he fix that yet?
Hey, Bill, I'm curious. Did that phantom error in forms, has that been either completely fixed or at least reduced at all?
Don't think you're talking to me, are you, Joe?
Yes, I am. You know, sometimes you would save, but it would say it was an error, but then it would show a success sometimes.
Yeah, I've seen that once or twice, but not nearly as frequently as.
Okay. Yeah, I spent long time debugging that, and I think I found two scenarios that it happens. I'm not saying I fixed all of it, but I'm pretty sure if it's not completely eliminated, it should be a whole lot better.
Well, my previous comment had nothing to do with the current version because I've only saved once and it worked perfectly.
Okay. Excellent. Then we'll go with it's fixed.
So far, you're 100%.
Excellent. I love it. All right, let's start sharing my screen here. Let's go into it. I think what we will go with is showing off a completely new install. Okay. So give me a second. I'm going to start a completely new install here. What I mean is I'm just going to this particular demo server, I'm going to rename the TCMS data folder. So when I publish this or when I visit it, it thinks there's no TCMS data. So it's going to think it's a new install. I just want to kind of go over that workflow so that, yeah, it'll be a little bit nicer for new installs. So file, let's do it. Okay. All right. So let's just go ahead and go into the admin dashboard. And when you first go into an admin dashboard now, we get this view. Okay. And I think the feature Stephen was talking about earlier, this is related to it, that I changed in the previous beta. And now this beta has a nice little wizard, at least for new installs. Okay. So by default now, Total CMS is going to try to add a the TCMS data outside of your public HTML folder. Okay. Let me explain that. So this is my web server right now. Okay. And this demo .totalcms.test, that's my public that's where I publish everything. Okay. Now by default, now this is on my local Mac, so it's okay. So by default, it's going to want to put the TCMS data in one folder above your public folder. Now, why is that? Okay. The reason that is a good thing is because if your TCMS data folder is inside your website, which is where we've had it for years, okay, it does make that data publicly accessible. Okay. However, even if you put it in here, I should say that there is a htaccess file that gets created. Right here. Actually, there should be one created in here, which I don't think mine does right now. This folder is an old one before I had that feature, but it will add an htaccess file inside of here that it should block access. Okay. But just to be like extra safe and extra secure, it's better just to move the data outside of your document root, so it's not in a publicly accessible area at all. Does that make sense to everybody? Can I get a
Yes,
amen?
you have to be,
Excellent.
yeah,
Thank you.
you have to be careful though with your host.
Yes, which is why. So, for example, let's say I had my website set up exactly like what you're seeing here, where I have multiple websites. Okay, and if they all shared the same Total CMS, if I set them all up to be the default data, they'd all have the TCMS data folder here, which isn't good because then, well, unless that's what you want, right? They would be sharing the same TCMS data folder, okay? Which actually is possible, but it might not be what you want. So depending on your web server's setup, the default path might not make sense for you, okay? Which is why there is another option to store it in the doc root, okay? While not ideal, Total CMS does install htaccess rules within that folder to block anyone that's going to attempt to access the data from a web browser. Okay. And then on top of that, if you really wanted to provide a custom class, oh shoot, apparently I broke that. A box should show up here and you can type in a custom path. And apparently that broke at some point. That's unfortunate. But there we go. For this one, I'm just going to choose document root for my current setup for this website. Click continue. At that point, that will then show you, okay, now I've created that folder. Let's go ahead and set up a new user. So go ahead and create our new user now. And it's thinking. And then voila. Now we go into the dashboard. If you notice, until you start creating some collections, this is what the dashboard will look like. Okay. So you can go into, let's say, project setup, and probably something you might want to do is set up default collections. So let's go ahead and click on set up default collections. And when I do that, sometimes that can take a little while. All right, all done. And now if I go to the dashboard, it knows that, hey, there's enough data in the CMS now that I'm going to go ahead and show this dashboard. Okay. So that is the new setup workflow. I think it works really well. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that.
What does it do if you have it set up in a subdomain?
It doesn't matter if it's a subdomain or not. What a website is a website to Total CMS. Hopefully your subdomain, some people put their subdomains inside their main domain folder. I highly recommend not doing that. That has nothing to do with Total CMS. That's just not a great idea. You should make sure all your websites have their own dedicated folder, whether or not it's a subdomain or not. Okay. Okay. So that's it. Any questions on that flow? All right. Let's go ahead and put. Actually, we're gonna.
Quick question:
Yes.
Does the name have to be Can you change the name of the folder?
You can, if you do, well, the custom path thing didn't show up. Apparently that's a
Right.
bug. But if you chose custom path, you can choose a folder other than TCMS data.
So you could put them all in the, if you wanted to put them all
Oh,
in the same
that is a
place, you
great
could give
point.
them a
Yes,
name.
you
Right.
could. You
Change
could
the name.
put it all in above and put, website one data or whatever.
Right.
But
Yep.
yeah, yes, you could. That's a good point. Actually, let me file a bug for that. I'm not sure why that pisses me off. All right. Custom path in setup not working. Okay. And at any point in time, if you wanted to change that path after you've already set things up, you can go into the settings and customize the path here. So at that point, you can go here and change it to be whatever you want and save it. Now, obviously, you got to be careful once you do that. It'll move everything, right? Or it'll switch the configuration to use this data folder. It won't move anything for you. Yeah, you're gonna have to manually move or make sure the data is there. It will create the folder that you save here. It will create it if it doesn't exist, but it's not gonna move anything for you. Okay, so yeah. So if you change this and you save it, and then when you refresh the page, if all of your data is gone from the CMS, it's just in wherever it was before. Okay. So, okay. Next up, I think the next big thing here is actually how some really cool stuff that I've added, some new stacks for blog, for setting up blog and making it really easy to set up a blog. Okay. So I'm going to open up my project file for this site. Actually, I'm going to, instead of starting from a blank, actually, no, we'll start from a blank one. Why not? For fun. Do we? We'll revert so we have data. There we go. All right. Now we're going to revert. There we go.
Would you enjoy these conversations where you're both sides?
They say it's when you answer yourselves when you have problems, right?
Didn't you answer yourself?
Exactly. That's exactly my point. Okay. So there are, as you know, there's a lot of new stacks in this update. Okay, a lot of new content stacks, and there's a couple new form stacks, which we'll get into. Okay. But the two new stacks that I'm most excited about, and they're very similar, is the blog post stack and the feed post stack. We're gonna go over the blog post stack mostly today. They're identical though, okay, in terms of their functionality. It's just feeds. The feed post is for feeds. The blog post is for blogs. Okay. So as we know from a previous, this still uses a custom grid. What? We will. Hey, let's. I'm gonna delete this. Right. So we just have so we'll have nothing. Right. We're just gonna start off with a fresh blog list page. Okay. And just to show you, we're gonna start off with a fresh blog post page. So I have two pages, a blog list and a blog post page that have nothing on it. Okay. And just to zero everything out on the website, let's just go ahead and do that too. Okay. So let's refresh that now. If I go into blog page is empty. Okay. So we want to add in a blog list. So there is obviously a stack called blog grid. We can drag that out there, and blog grid, it creates a very nice, simple blog grid for you. There's a lot of options that you can, tweak the various, grid styles, and, have auto linking and stuff like that. Okay. But for all intents and purposes, I have a blog grid. I'm done. Let's just go ahead and publish that. Okay. So if I refresh this page now, hello.
No data.
Uh-oh, what happened? No, I thought I put the data back. That's weird. Let's go ahead and what do I do?
Who's your data? Oh wait, never mind. There he is. Hi, Lyle.
Ha, funny. You're a funny guy.
I know.
There, cache refresh.
Got that filler for you while you like, how do
What
I
the heck?
unscrew this?
What did I do? I literally just did this yesterday. Blog is the collection. Oh, I put this on the blog post page. All right. Helps if you put it on the right page.
Fail blog.
All right. So there we go. Rookie. What a rookie.
Wasn't Fail blog a website back in the day?
There we go. So obviously there's something wrong with this blog post, but as you see there, now I have a blog post. All right, a blog grid. Pretty nice, actually, right? Now, if I go ahead and click on this, it doesn't go to a blog post page, right? I don't have anything on my blog post page. But now we have this very handy dandy blog post stack. And when we add that to the page, we get a pre-built blog page. Okay, with some settings where you can turn various things on and off, and you have a couple little layout options. Okay, but for all intents and purposes, I drop this on and I publish it, and I have a done for you blog page. Let's go back to blog, click on a blog post, and voila, I have a blog post page.
That related content down there too? Look at that.
Exactly. So it even does related posts down at the bottom, all automatic. Pretty slick. Right? So I think with this, I haven't timed myself yet, but I think with those two stacks, my goal of doing blog in 60 seconds is totally not far from the truth now.
Yeah.
I didn't even change any settings, and I had a blog grid. I click on it. I have a decent looking blog post page now. Right? Very exciting. Very cool. So yeah, those are the two new, or actually the blog post is new. The blog grid we already had, but yeah, I'm excited about this. Again, it's just a way of getting up and going super quick, right? And having a blog. Now, I know there aren't a lot of options in this blog post stack right now, and I'm sure I might add a few more, but if you're ever like, how do I go from this? I want this and this to change. Well, at some point, if you need to go this, you're going to have to learn how to do it, natively. So by using the various other, image and text stacks and whatnot. Right. So, but this will get you going really quick. But then if you ever wanted to really go and have a custom layout and, really do something custom, then you're going to have to, put your big boy pants on and learn how to use it with the other stacks.
Well, I think it's kind of important. This is cool because like you could put out the custom admin for your customer to start adding blog posts and literally throw this up to have something for them to look at as they're formatting their posts.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could come back and style it the way you want after the fact.
Yep. Now you can use swatches. Like for example, if you notice this header has a drop shadow, that's actually not a part of the style of the stack. I actually have a swatch that sets H1s to have a drop shadow, right? So you can style this stuff with swatches, to some extent, right? So there we go. Okay, let's see what else is on the list. Let's look at some other cool stacks that we got.
Like Loop Depot?
Yes, we can go through Loop Depot today. Sure. Okay. So on this page, you'll notice that we have a gallery. Okay. And if I click on this one, it shows the gallery. Okay. Now this particular one is this line and it has a gallery and we can limit the number that shows, which is really cool. But if you look at this, I have a button here and this button launches a gallery that is invisible on the page. So I do have other gallery stacks on the page, but this particular one, you don't need to have anything on the page. Okay. And you can launch it from a button. You can launch it from anything you want. Okay. If you notice, it is different. I turned off the thumbnails in the slideshow. So just to show you that it is a different slideshow, from this one, even though it's the same exact images. Okay. So yeah, it is. I'm launching this gallery, but it's separate because I'm launching it from. It's invisible. Okay. If you're curious where I am, let me give you some inspiration. Okay. Obviously, this is the camping site I've been working on. Let me just go to a page. Let's go to this campsite. Okay. So up here, I have a bento. Okay. That has an image. This is the main image for a site, and then these images are getting pulled from the gallery. Okay, and these ones should be random. So if I refresh the page, they will randomly change. Okay, now this is just a static layout. Obviously, I can't sort my gallery like this with a bento, but I can put in images with the gallery loop. And then I can use that invisible gallery to just link the gallery to when I click these images. And I've made it so that you can actually link to a specific image in the gallery as well. So when I link to this one, it actually opens up that particular image in the gallery, right? So yeah, here I'm launching them from an image that happens to also be in the gallery, but you can launch these galleries from a button or from whatever you want. Okay, really cool. Like, for example, this is the main image, and I made it so when you click on it, it just opens the gallery. That particular image, I don't have it referenced in the gallery, but yeah. So this one just kind of, it's acting like a button that just launches the gallery, whereas these ones are inside the gallery and they get purposely indexed when I click on it, goes straight to it. Pretty cool. So yeah, there's a lot of really cool functionality with this. The ability to I know Josh has already built some cool stuff with it so that you can dynamically launch a gallery from any image or any button or any link. Really cool stuff.
Yeah, do you want to see that? I actually have that up right now if you want to see that quickly.
Oh, sure.
It's pretty neat. I think this, I'm just double checking how many galleries images there were. All right, so on these venues, we're using bento masonry on these gallery images. So you can see that this image here is vertical. So if there's portrait images, bento masonry just organizes it. And then, yeah, you can just launch the gallery straight from the image. And it goes straight directly into those images.
Nice.
Which is like pretty slick. Yeah. Really happy with how that turned out. It's pretty nice.
Score. Thank you.
I don't know.
Any questions on that, guys? And if you're curious on the implementation, it is right here. Okay. So the launcher stack itself, it's rather unobtrusive on the page. It doesn't display any images because again, it really is just an invisible gallery. Okay. All the options are the same thing as a normal gallery, minus obviously like the grid setup. Okay. So here there is a trigger class. So here there's a new trigger class option, and basically whatever you put that class on will trigger the button or will trigger the gallery. Okay. If you wanted to link to a particular image, you would put in this data attribute and then the name of the image that you want to link to. Okay, so that's how that works. So that's how on that camping site, on the bento things, as I was looping through and adding the gallery images, I knew the name of the image, so I added a little data attribute and then put in the name of the image. That way it linked directly to that image in the gallery, right? So pretty cool
can I actually
stuff
show one more thing with that layout with that masonry? That is actually, I didn't even try this. This looks really, really, really good. Like, I mean, I don't think you've ever had galleries that look like this, because like when you resize, like how it reorganizes so nicely.
Yes.
Like, that is gorgeous. I didn't even try this earlier. That works really nice.
Yeah. Bento is going to be really, I've actually always wanted to take the concept that I built with this gallery launcher and make a gallery out of it so that you could use something like Bento to create a gallery. Because I think Bento as a layout tool is super powerful, right?
Very much.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm super stoked that we can start doing stuff like that. All right. All right. Next up after the gallery. Oh, I'm not sharing anymore. Oops.
Sorry.
Okay. There is a, actually, let's go into Total CMS. There is a new default collection. Okay. If you want to create the default collection, it's now called code. There is a code default collection. And look, I'll show you how to do it because actually I don't have it here. So let's go ahead and create that. If you notice, I have a lot of collections, but I don't have the new code collection. How do I add it? You could manually add it, but that's a lot of work. So let's go ahead and if we go into project setup and I'm just going to say setup default collections. And if you didn't know, if you click this, if it will go through and it'll attempt to create a collection. If it already exists, it essentially does nothing. Okay. But now it created a new code collection. So now if we go back, we should have a code collection. Right. And code is essentially the same thing as like text. Okay. But the one difference is it has a code box. Okay. And the reason that is special is because by default, code boxes don't have HTML sanitation. Okay. So essentially what you put in here is definitely what gets saved in the CMS. Okay. So that could be a good or a bad thing, right? So, you know, with great power comes great responsibility, right? So yeah, if you can all thank Chris for this one. He was using a text collection before, and he was just adding a new bit of text, and he was pasting in like JavaScript embed code. And my built-in HTML sanitation says, hey, you know, that's kind of maybe looks a little sketchy, especially from this Chris guy. So I'm going to remove it. Right. And so it was removing his, you know, maybe sometimes it would remove just certain data attributes, but, you know, can remove all the tags. Right. So, and that's a good thing for some people. Right. You definitely want to have that locked down. But yeah, so we have a new code collection that will be available in all editions. Okay. So that you can go ahead and create code snippets and save them. So you can add, you know, stuff to your header or footer or whatever. Right. So
well, actually, a really good use case for this was actually just used it this week. Was the customer they had on all of their services pages. They have a review from a review site, some in Germany.
Yep.
And they put a little badge on your site with like your reviews and like your rating. So we were able to just put this code into the code stack, and then it just put it down onto the post page. So then every page had that snippet of, you know, little badge data, which is really cool.
Exactly. So
exactly
with
what I'm
that
using
new
it for.
collection, there's obviously two new stacks now. So there is a content stack for code, right? So if you just drag that onto the page, you put in the ID of your code, right? Which is just the whatever ID you put in here. Okay. So you plop in your object ID there and it'll put in the code. Okay. Obviously you can also use this macro if you want to inject that in the page head or whatever. Right. So, but yeah, if you just want to use the stack, this will inject the code wherever that stack is. And then the other new stack is if you're building a custom admin area, there is also a code. There it is, a code form stack. Okay. So if you needed that, if you were building a custom admin area, we won't go into that now, but I'm sure you can realize, oh, well, it doesn't work on a non-admin page, but you drag that out and it will show up as a code form on your custom admin page. Okay.
Very cool. Very cool.
Okay. Next up, there's a few features that have actually been in the CMS for probably over a year, but I doubt many people use them. So there are some Twig extensions that I've built for building QR codes or barcodes, QR codes, and embeds. Okay. And before, if you wanted to use them, you had to have read the docs and knew that those existed. Okay. But now we have the ability just to, go ahead and drag these out on the page and we can create a barcode. Okay. So when you add the barcode stack to the page, just go ahead and add in, you'll say what type of barcode. There's a shit ton of barcodes. Say you'll pick the barcode that you need. And then you put in the variable that contains the data that you need to make a barcode. So let's say, I have an example here, product.sku. Okay. And yeah, you provide your sizing and color and it will generate the barcode for you. Okay. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. If you wanted to show an example, here, let's go ahead and let's go into the playground. Okay, so if I do, right, if you look here, you can see the macro. Okay, and there's a lot of macros. If you were to change this, it like changes there's a lot of barcode stuff. So let's just do we'll do barcode dot text. Oops, barcode dot text. And just for fun, I'm just going to do, I think I have a skew in my, here, we'll just do that. Okay. And render. Oh, it's black. Here, let's do, let's see, I can do, where is color? So we just do, we can do an options here. So we can do comma, we can do color. Oops. I think that's right. Let's try that. Oh, and then we need to have width and height there. So I guess we need width 200, height 100. Let's try that. There we go. Took me long enough. There you go. And see, if you just use the stack, voila, you can just use the stack to build out that barcode. Okay. So there you go. Same thing. I won't go through all the hoopla about QR code. Same thing though, right? So you can do QR codes for a lot of different things. URL, text, email, telephone. You can even do an SMS, which is interesting, and GPS, right? So there's a few things here. There's actually more options. You can do contact card and address. But I'll admit, I was kind of lazy when I was making the stack. So if you want to do address code or address or contact card, go look at the docs and you can get the macro to do that. Okay. I didn't feel like adding like 20 fields for like the address card. Okay. In the settings.
Hey Joe, do you have iMessage in there?
I have SMS in here.
There is an iMessage one, like Mail too. There is an iMessage one now.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You could probably just use for a lot of those things. You just use URL.
URL. Yeah.
Yeah. And you just put in the syntax for that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually really excited about the iMessage one. It works really nicely.
Sweet.
You can actually put it in your email too, like your signature.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And obviously you can provide a width and the color, and it'll generate the QR code. Okay. So there you go. There is QR codes. And the last one is embed. Okay. So the embed it's pretty cool. So let's say like in a blog post, there's a media field and you can put like a YouTube URL in there or a Vimeo URL or, maybe a MP3 or an MP4 URL, something like that. Right. But essentially what you do here is you put in a variable that contains the URL. Okay. And by default, it'll auto detect. But you can explicitly say, like, if it's going to be a YouTube video, you can just say YouTube and then post.media and then Vimeo. So there's HTML5 video, HTML5 audio, and an iframe. So pretty cool. Very simple, but going to be super useful, I think. Okay. Any questions on that? Pretty simple stuff. Let's see. Next up is here. Let's clean up some of these stacks I added to the page. The conditional stack. Okay. In the last update, I added a bunch of like live examples of what you could use it for. And I don't know, it felt cluttered and kind of not hard to, or not easy to read or understand. So I removed them all. And what I did is I instead added a little cheat sheet. so that you can kind of have a nicer cheat sheet here. And if you double click, you can go ahead and copy and paste still these examples. Okay. I also added more examples in here. So there's a few more examples than they had before. But yeah, the cheat sheet just kind of gives you an example of how you can use conditionals. Okay. So there we go. And all these are available in the docs as well, but who looks at docs? So okay, the last new stack, okay, it's another custom form stack. Here we'll go to at least the custom admin page so we can see it. And it is the select stack. Okay. And what this does is it will add a select form to your page. Oh, shoot. All right, we'll just publish. Okay. So it will add a select form to your page. Let's go to that. Oh, not this one. So it adds this select box, and essentially it allows someone to select something, and when you save, it saves it to the text collection. Okay. So instead of a text being a free form text, you can have you can give someone options of static text that they can select and save that in the text collection. We had this option in Total CMS 1, so I thought it would be good to have that as an option in Total CMS 3 if you needed that. Again, you can already do this in the dashboard as well on the pre-built admin area. You can change the object override to be a select, and you can save. You can use the same feature in the admin dashboard. But yeah, I thought this was nice to have it in a custom admin area as well now, and to add options. Instead of like doing the whole child stack thing like you do in the Foundation 6 form, you can have the same syntax as we have in the dashboard, where you can supply options here. If you've ever gone to the docs, there's other ways where you can like group stuff and have all kinds of complex stuff in here. You can do all that here as well. So this is the same syntax as if you were to do this in the admin dashboard. Okay. Any questions on that?
Can I populate the options via Total CMS? So dynamically?
Yes. You would have to do that on the dashboard side, and you could do like related options or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Right now you can't like put a macro in here to control this text with the macro. That's not gonna work.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
No problem. All right, let's see. The next is, let's see. Let me go through my list here. I'm sorry. Let's see. ImageWorks. Let me see if I can find an example of, give me a second here. Oh, I trashed it. Oh, okay. So you guys have seen, I've been working on this campsite, and this is a membership card that gets dynamically created. But now we can have multiple lines of watermarked text. Okay. So if you notice here, it has a name and a membership number. Those are both dynamically watermarked. They're not two separate. It is one watermark, but it has multiple lines. Okay. So that what that means is they have to be the same text size, the same fonts and all that. I can't have, one different than the other. Okay. But you can have as many lines as you want. So you can have a multi-line watermark. I did a lot of work on scaling these text watermarks as well. So you can actually set like a static size for them now. But it's also smart that if I had a super long name that maybe would go off, it'll realize that and it'll shrink the size down so that it does. So it tries to keep the text size consistent, what you desired, but if it ever goes off the edge of the image, it'll shrink it down so that it does fit. Okay. So a pretty nice compromise. But this text watermarking, I put a lot of work into that the past couple of weeks, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. I think I've nailed it. Any questions? And if you get curious on how that works, here I'll show. Let's go to here. Oops, what the heck? Oh, just go down here. Let's go to playground. Oh, I already have it set up here. Excellent. All right. So if we look in here, what it does is, well, this is kind of a little complex. So here I'm creating a twig thing where I'm adding the first name, the last name, and then you have to have a new line character, right? So here, let me simplify this a little bit in this example. Let me just. All right, so let's do. We'll do Joe Workman /N, and then I was 26-1. Okay, so but essentially what you do is you put this /N, and that is a new line. Okay, and if we render that, oh, log in, re-render that, and so there it goes. So that new, it's basically this syntax, and you could. I actually haven't tested 3 lines, I'll be honest, but there's nothing saying it shouldn't work. There you go, works. Oops, I put a 5 in there by accident. But yeah, so you see, you can have as many lines as you want. You can have static, sized text, and then you can have precise positioning of that as well. Because I wanted it exactly above these existing these words down here are embedded in the image. And if we ever uploaded a new image, as long as it was kind of everything was positioned, this membership card would work perfectly, right? So I do have exact positioning of that watermark so that it happens right above this text here. So yeah, really happy with this. I think it's pretty cool. I've never seen I don't know. Let me know. Have you guys ever seen a system that kind of did something like this? I haven't. I think it's pretty cool.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I don't think I've
Yeah,
seen
never.
anything like that.
Yeah. All right. So that, yeah, a lot of work went into the watermarking. Some cool stuff. Some things you might not have noticed, or you might not notice, but collections are now sorted by name. Before they were sorted by the ID, which here's an example, and the reason I found out this bug was this collection's ID is types, and various other collections have different names than what you see here, or different IDs, and I gave them different names rather than the IDs, and the order was not right. And it confused me at first until I realized that I was sorting by the ID and not the name. So now they're sorted by name, so the names here will be alphabetical.
I was wondering why they all reorganized again on me, because I knew it was by the ID of the schema or the ID, and I was just like, I thought I was dumb, but I didn't even bother mentioning it. So and then all of a sudden I logged in after one of your updates, and I was like, why are these changed again? That makes sense. You fixed it.
Yeah. Another thing is inside here, the recent collections, this properly updates now. So like if you update a collection, it should show up here now. So the order in which these have been updated should be correct now, which is nice. So if I were to update units right now, it would plop up to be the top. So the top 10 collections that have been updated. Okay, so that's nice. I've been getting great feedback on this dashboard. Hopefully everyone else loves it as well.
Yeah, you did something now where you can change just the name at the top, right?
Yes. That's another thing in this update. You can there is a new template that allows you to change just this. Okay.
Nice.
And so Matthias, I know you were wondering about what I'm going to do with white labels and are they pro only? I have decided that some white labels will be available on standard. Okay. So I haven't coded this in yet, but if you wanted to use them now, so that if you knew, so the white label login above, okay, the download off above, and the where is it? Admin welcome. Okay, those three are going to be available to standard. Okay, and the reason is those are really useful for localization. So like this, you can then change this text to be something that you need, right? That is more better for you. And then on the login screen, obviously the login above where it says welcome to Total CMS, you can change that to be whatever you like. Okay, and the same thing for the download authentication. Okay.
Yep. Great.
So those three areas will be available to standard. Okay. Okay. This is another cool one. Actually, I don't want to make any changes in this admin area. I don't want to do anything stupid. Let's go to my demo server. Okay. I think I talked about this on a live. I don't remember now, but whatever. We'll talk about it again. Okay, we're going to my blog. Okay, so if you know, when you clicked on this, before this used to say duplicate post. Okay, now it says clone post, and there's a reason. Okay, so that's change number one. This now says clone post, and yeah, it says clone post here, clone post. Actually, funny enough, these always said clone post here, but for some reason, this action said duplicate post. Okay. So now that says clone post. And that's important because there is a new duplicate post feature, okay, that acts a little bit differently. So let's go into this blog post. And if we go up here, there is a duplicate now, okay? And this behaves differently than the one, that clone post. Now that clone post will create a clone, an exact copy of this particular object, with all the images, all the files, everything, okay? But what this does, let's go ahead and click duplicate. What this does is this duplicates all the content, but any images or files are removed. Okay? And if you notice, by default, the ID is reset as well. Okay? Now, there was a lot of contention. Some users loved that the ID is blank, and some users didn't. So we have our first dashboard setting for how behaviors happen. Okay, so if we go into settings and we go into dashboard now, there is a keep ID on duplicate object. Let's go ahead and turn that on. Okay, so now let's go back into my blog. On the blog, on here. All right, so now when I duplicate, okay, it keeps the ID. Now you've noticed this is red, and it's red because it initially said, hey, I can't save this because this is a new blog post form, and it's red because this ID already exists, right? So if I were to either make any changes to that, it'll then turn good, okay? So yeah, I wouldn't be able to save this until I changed the ID, but at least when you duplicate, the ID is kept. So then you can make any modifications that you would need to it. Okay. And if you had autogen, it would autogen based on, I don't know if this is set to autogen. I don't think so. No, it's not. Okay. But yeah. And then you would upload any images and make any modifications that you want, and then you'd save the blog post. Okay. So yeah, any questions on that? I think it's a useful feature. Another useful thing, if you're in a edit form, if you just want to do Command D, that will duplicate as well. So there's a keyboard shortcut for those that are keyboard warriors. Okay. And if you didn't know, there's also the Command N, which takes you to a new blog form. It'll take you to a new object form for whatever collection you're currently in, right? So if I'm in my products collection, okay, and I hit Command N, Command N, it will take me to a new product form. Okay, pretty cool. So if you didn't know that, that's some nice little features, hidden features. Okay. Do you guys have any other ideas for, hey, I think this action would be good to, have like some keyboard shortcuts for speed? I think that would be nice. I like that. So if you have any cool ideas around that, let me know. Okay. So yeah, that is the new duplicate object feature. And how that differs from the clone object feature that we have here. Okay. I won't bore you with all these other minor fixes and dark mode fixes and some security enhancements and something with deck. So I did find some bugs with deck yesterday or 2 days ago. I don't remember, all the days blur sometimes. That it could potentially see what was the issue. I'm trying to think of now. Hold on, let me look at my notes here. Oh, it had to deal with saving an object. Let me see if I find. Does this have a? I forget which one's had. I don't have a deck here. It must be on my other server. 1 second. Okay. If you saved an object that had a deck field, but it was empty. Okay. Before I needed the ability to determine whether or not a deck was empty on my web page. Okay. So what I did was, here, I'll show you. So I created a reviews. Okay. So I wanted to manage reviews. Okay. Here, let's go to the actual implementation. This one right here. Okay. So on this page, I have reviews down here. Okay. This is a deck. Okay. And I needed the ability to know whether or not there were reviews or not to add this layout to the page. Okay. And before, that actually didn't work. And actually, so it didn't work. It means that if you tried to do this, it wouldn't work for you either, but it should now because I fixed it. I'll show you if you want how I accomplish that. Here it is. So inside of a conditional, basically I just said campsite reviews is not empty. So prior to this update, that if statement would have been much more complex and not readable. So I wanted to make sure, and it had to do with how an empty deck was saved in the CMS and stuff like that. So yeah, if you have any issues with a check like this on something that was existing, you might just need to go and resave your object so that an empty deck is saved the right way inside CMS. But now with the current version, it is just campsite.reviews, which contains my review deck is not empty. So if it's not empty, then I add in this block grid and I loop through the deck and I create a block grid with all the reviews. So pretty simple stuff. But yeah, pretty awesome little layout that just adds. I think I shuffle them and I get 4, right? So I shuffle all the reviews and I display 4 of them right there. Maybe eventually if we get more, maybe you could do like a horizon, which is like a scrolling or horizontal scroller container or something like that, or you can do a moving box that kind of animates them. But I think we're fine with just a static thing. If you refreshed this, I think there's only 4 reviews on this, so they would shuffle the position, but it would randomly pick 4 of them. Okay. Actually this little twig I wrote to do the stars is kind of interesting. In the back end here, if we go to a review, let's go to my products. I probably could have just done new review. It doesn't matter. So if we add a review, we go in. I just used a slider, so you can have a slider from 1 to 5 stars. And yeah, so it is a very manual thing. It doesn't integrate with Google or anything like that. But you can manually add in reviews. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. And what that does is, so this sets the star rating 1 through 5. And here, if we want to look at this, this is a little advanced, I'll admit, but I know some of you guys would eat this up. So let's go ahead and have a gander. All right. So this does, so this is a simple this is a for loop. So I go for iterate I, which is a variable, in 1 through 5. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's always going to do 5, right? And then if the item.rating is the rating of the review, so it is a 4-star review or a 5-star review, okay? So and we have to think in this loop. Here, let's go ahead and make this a little. We'll indent this properly so that you can kind of see. Okay, so let's do this so it kind of piecemeals things out logic-wise. All right, I think that'll make sense now.
We remember the crazy garbage we had to do in Total CMS 1 to make this work.
So, okay. So how for loops work, it may be for the non-programmers in here, every iteration of this loop, I essentially said it's going to go through this loop 5 times because I just did this 1.5. The first iteration, it starts at 1. So I equals 1. So at that point, it says if 1 is less than item.rating, which let's say that's 4, that is true. So it's going to insert this SVG. This SVG is a solid star. This is a hollow star. So so when it's 1, it outputs a solid star. Obviously, it's going to skip this one because that's in the else block. So it's going to go through the second loop. In the second loop, it's I is then number 2. Is 2 less than, let's say this is 4? Yes, it is. Solid star. 3, solid star. Next loop, 4. 4 is still less than or equal to 4. So yes, then it gets a solid star. The last loop is 5. So this equals 5. This equals 4. And since this is false, it's going to go and then display the hollow star, right? So a little advanced. Sorry if I just broke some people's brains, but it's pretty cool. Okay. Pretty interesting way of, doing a star system. And I will cheat. I had AI, so I did this, I think it was probably like 1 a.m. and my brain was like, and I had ChatGPT, hey, I have this problem. I need Twig to do this. And yeah, I obviously I changed the SVGs to be the exact SVGs I wanted, but voila, it gave me that little for loop. I pasted it in and it worked. So there we go. Okay. Even I use AI sometimes.
I think ChatGPT is so good with Twig.
It is, yes.
It's really cool though. Like once you start understanding like the for loops and you see ChatGPT writing them, then you can like replace some of the code with the stacks itself too. So
exactly.
It's super powerful what you can do.
Yeah. Any questions on this?
Yeah, Joe, I had a question.
Yeah.
What's the keystroke for that less than or equal to sign?
Oh, so that is I have a special font installed. It literally is, it literally is whenever I type greater than or equal to, it creates that for me. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that is confusing to some people. There's actually 2 characters there, but the font that I have for my coding setup, it will, whenever it sees those, it merges them into this cool little character. So yeah, it literally is if we see, or let me turn on my little magnifying glass
I
here.
can say just space them out so that you can see them separately before
Oh
they
yeah,
merge.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I can do greater than, equal to. It if I were to, if you see delete that space, it kind of does that. But yeah, that's just my font that I use. So yeah, it is greater than or equal to with no space in between. And same thing if we were to do greater than or equal to, it will do that. So there we go. And if you do equal, it does like a big equal sign. And if you
What
do
about exclamation mark?
exclamation mark, it does that. So
Ooh.
yeah. And it actually, if you do exclamation mark equals, it does that.
What?
So,
It's madness.
yeah. So anyway, good eye on that though. Sometimes I forget that's tripped up some people before. They've seen my examples and they go, I saw this in your video, but how do I put that on my, and I go, oh shoot, sorry, I forgot my font. Good question. Good eyes, Bill. You can actually see it here if we do. I need to launch it. I didn't launch it. There it is. Voila. So it's just less than or equal to. Sweet.
So in code, if you wanted to designate less than or equal to, you just type in those two things and it would know.
Yes. Yeah. In code. Yeah. That equals less than or equal to. That's that's common. That's almost in any programming language is that. Normally, if you're doing comparisons, it's always going to be two. So even if I want to say I equals something, it's always going to be two equal signs. So comparisons always have two operators. Well, I guess not always, because if I wanted just less than, you would do just a less than sign. So, but yeah, does that make sense? So yeah. So I guess you can never have you can't do this, right? I can't do I equals item dot rating, because that when you have a single equals, that is an assignment. So I'm saying if I and I'm assigning that. So if you ever want to do a comparison, it always has to be two equal signs. Anyway, let's put that back. All right. Any other questions on this this loop here? Pretty interesting. So I did use the deck loop or loop deck. And when you loop through a deck, it assigns every iteration the item variable. So I know in my review that item.name is the reviewer's name, item.created. Now here's actually kind of a cool thing. I did item.created, which is the creation date, but then I did pipe relative or pipe date relative. What that does is it will do stuff like this: 1 day ago, 3 months ago, 1 year ago, 14 days ago, right? So it'll do relative. Okay. And I think that this particular function should be localized, Matthias. All right. So if you did this date relative, I'm 70% sure that instead of it saying day ago, it will be German.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. So it'll be whatever 1 day ago is, but in German. Okay. So yeah. As long as hopefully you do have it set in the settings.
Yep.
And you go to the general and you set your locale to be your language.
I did.
Okay. So if you have that, I'm relatively certain that this is one of the things that should be localized already. Okay.
Great.
All right. Okay. Pretty cool stuff there. So anyway, get back to this. Let's click on that. So we do item.created pipe date relative. That gives me that relative date. Then I display my 5 SVGs, whether or not it's the solid star or the hollow star, based on the number of ratings. And then below that, I put in a item.review, which is the actual review, right? So if we were to look at, go to my schema, go to review, there's all the fields for my review. I have an ID, which I never use. Okay. Rating, which is again the number of stars, the name, which is the name of the reviewer, the actual review, which is the text, and then the creation date. Okay.
All of those stars are all in one SVG stack.
No, because remember here I have two
Yeah,
SVGs.
I know, but
Solid.
it looks like on the page it looks like it was just what's the twig in
No,
right
I
there.
just have it. It's just in an SVG stack because all it does is it
Right,
generates 5 SVGs right next to each other. And
right. So you have,
SVGs by default are inline blocks, so they'll sit right next to each other. Does that make sense?
but it's inside the SVG stack as opposed to outside the SVG stack.
Yes. And that was so that I could use these so that I actually, if you use this scale, a funny little hack with the SVG stack, I set the maximum width to be 24 pixels. It will actually go to each SVG inside of it. I'm gonna say that past me did that on purpose because it was fucking brilliant, but it wasn't. Okay, I'll admit it here. But yeah, so this actually will go to, and it'll scale each one to be 24 pixels. So that was a happy accident when I did that. Okay. So yeah, there we go. Actually, maybe I have. Oh, and then up here, I do have an SVG swatch that does the coloring of the SVG to yellow. So there we go. All right. I think that's it for this update, guys. There's a bunch of little bug fixes here and there, but I'm not going to bore you and go into all those details. Any other questions? I know, Dave, you wanted to look at Loop Depot. If anyone, oh, Marcelo wants in. I wonder how long Marcelo's been wanting in. Sorry, Marcelo, not sure how long you were waiting to get into this Zoom. Sorry about that. Anyone have any questions or stuff, or else I can dive into the Loop Depot if anyone else wants to see that. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Let's play. All right, let's just close this. Let's close this. Don't save. All right. For fun, let's go into here. I'm gonna go in, let's just create a depot. All right. Just go into depot. Do I have a depot created? Oh, I do. I have a depot. Okay. So I have a depot called depot. Oh, look, I already have images in here, right? And some zips and whatnot. Okay. So I'm going to loop through this and we'll display this data. Okay. Oh, so right now depot does support folders. Okay. I'm going to keep this example simple. And I'm just going to list the files that are in the depot. Okay. I'm not going to try to, I don't know, create some sort of crazy thing that loops through all the folders. And I don't know. I don't think my brain can take that right now. Okay, I'll admit it. But what we're going to do a simple loop. We'll loop through the depot and display all the files that are in the top level of the depot. Okay. Eventually, I will create a browser that's like this, but for the content side, where it will be interactive and you can do everything you can do here minus the admin stuff. Okay. I thought that was going to be a really easy thing. I spent like half a day and was like, I can't. So I will re-implement this for a content file browser, but not yet. Okay. Eventually. Okay, so let's loop through this and let's do it. All right, so let's do it from the. Actually, no, just to keep things clean, I'm going to duplicate this page and let's do Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I've done a lot of changes to this project file, and I want to save this demo for a future people to download it. So I'm gonna revert my thing to my current saved state. Just give me a second.
Good.
Yeah. Start changes. All right, now I'm going to reopen that file, and we'll create a new page for Depot. All right, so let's go ahead and create a new page. Let's call this Depot. Okay, and paste that there. There we go. All right. And I assume this has CMS core, does it? I think so. Yes, it does. Cool. All right. Let's go ahead and let's go into layout helpers, which are these guys. And let's do loop depot. Okay. So we're going to loop through the depot. And what you'll notice, what's nice about this is it gives you examples all right here on all the macros that you would need to get to the data that are for every single file. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's do something simple, and let's create actually, we're going to go to the starter pack. In the starter pack, there is a list stack. Okay. So we're going to do a list, and I'm going to loop through and create a list item for every file in my depot. Okay. Is that breaking anyone's brain?
Yeah, mine.
Okay. Okay, perfect. That's why I was asking. Okay. So let's go back to what a loop is. Do you understand the concept of loop? So what this does is think of this as like a little machine, okay? And for each, it's going to look at a depot, which has multiple files, and it's going to loop through them. First, it's going to go to this one, and then it's going to do 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 this one, right? Okay. So as this is a loop, as the name says, it's going to, whatever you put into it, it's going to create one instance per iteration of the loop. So in this case, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 files. So this is going to loop through 6 times, and whatever I put into it is going to create something 6 times. Right? So for example, let's just do this. I am going to create, here's an interesting idea. Right? Let's just add in, I'm going to add in a header stack. Okay. And all I'm going to do is say, come on, I'm going to say file. Okay. And the object ID here is depot. Okay. So over here, I have a collection depot. The property is, I need to update that. The property is, no, the property is depot. My bad. Oops. Okay. So my object ID here is important. It's depot, remember? And that's because the object ID is depot. The collection is depot, right? So I just put depot for everything. Okay. We're going to, I have to publish this because I don't have that data in preview. I should have put this one as /d. Let's just do /depot. All right. So if you look here, this page, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 files. You see that? Now it's just the word file, right? And that's because, if you remember, I have 6 files in my depot. And so loop went through and I told it to create this header that has the word file in it for every single file in the depot. And it did that. Now, obviously, this isn't useful, right? But this illustrates what it's doing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So now let's go to the next level. Okay. So now inside depot, okay, if we look at the settings, right, I can access the file name with this little macro here. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste that in my header. Okay. So now it's going to loop through, and inside this header, it's going to output the name for each instance. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to publish that.
Will that become a link?
Not yet.
Oh,
We're going one step at a time here. So now I have a list of all my file names. That makes sense, correct?
it does.
Perfect. Okay. So, now what we'll notice is I do have, okay. Trying to think of the best way to go about this. All right. Before I dive into getting the download link, okay. What I want to do is I want to create a bullet list, okay, of these. I guess you could just use headers, right? But let's go ahead and but I think this is a nice thing to do. Okay. So in this list item here, okay, this list stack, let's go ahead and publish this. Well, I'm not sure, for some reason in edit mode now it has this new line on every single one. Not sure why it does that lately. It looks like this. It's just a list of things, right? So let's say I wanted to create a list item for every single file. Okay. This is the next iteration of things. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to create a new list item for each loop. Okay. So what I do is I go into here. Okay. And I drag this inside. So now loop is going to create this 6 times, right? Okay. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because it's created one of those list items for each file. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So now all I'm going to do is we're going to go in here and I'm going to paste in, paste in the name. Okay. So now I'm going to get a list item for every single file with the name, because obviously having a list with that isn't useful. So now I have a bullet list with each file. Okay. So now, okay, let's go ahead and now let's say let's say we didn't want the file name. Let's do the download name. All right, that's fine. We don't. And you can also like put in, if you have comments in the files, you can do all kinds of stuff. So let's go into here. Let's go into the CMS. Okay. And let's see if we edit a file, you can actually have comments for a file. You can have tags. Okay. Oops. So you can have, and you can also change the download name. So if you want the download name to be different than the actual file name, you can do that. What that means is when someone downloads this file, what is the name of that file going to be? Okay. So let's say I use this as a way to have versions of all my software. Let's say I had like Total CMS -3.41.zip, Total CMS -3.42.zip, but the download name is always going to be, the download name is always going to be Total CMS.zip. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So that's what the download name is. Right. And I won't take the time to put in comments and tags, if you put comments and tags, you can display those here as well if you needed to. Okay. But now how do we get to the download information? Okay. For a file, what we're going to do is we're going to select any file here and click on this little link tool. Okay. And this will come up with all kinds of ways that we can link to something. Okay. And we can either stream or download. In this case, we're going to go for download. Stream is if you're going to you want to embed this into a video player or maybe a PDF embed stack. You can do that. Okay. So what I would recommend is I do recommend using the macros rather than trying to get the download link. Because the link could potentially change, but a macro will automatically generate a download link for you. Okay. So I'm going to copy this macro. Okay. Now this particular macro is only for this file. That's very important. Does that make sense? So this macro will always result in a download link for this file. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So that gets us most of the way there. Okay. So inside of the list item, interesting. List items don't have link tools, do they? That kind of sucks. Let's go back up to our previous example. So it's a little easier. So we just have a header. Okay. We're just going to create a header with a paragraph. Okay. Yeah, paragraph's fine. Okay. And then in here, paragraphs have a link tool, so that makes it a little bit convenient. Okay. Oh, and in here we need file.name. Okay. But before I'm gonna plop over here just to show what we're gonna do to this macro. Now, again, as we said, this macro will always result in creating a download link to this specific file. Now, if you notice, that is just the file name. Okay. Therefore, in my iteration of my loop, if I want to inject the file name, I just need to put file.name. So if I take this macro and I put in file.name, okay, now this macro is dynamic. And for each iteration of the loop, it will generate a download link for that file. Okay. So we're going to go in, I'm going to go into the link and I'm going to paste that in. Okay. So now my header, I have the file name and the link has the download link that dynamically gets the download link for the file that I'm currently looking at. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. So let's publish this.
This is going to end up on YouTube, right?
This is on YouTube. Yes, it's currently
Okay.
being streamed to YouTube.
Because I'm going to have to watch this again.
Okay. So now I have all my files, their links, and if I click on it, it downloads it. There it is. Here's the zip. Click on that, and it's downloading it. Voila. There it is. Okay. Now there's stuff that we can do, right? So like if we look here, there's some cool stuff like here we have like nice little icons for the files and whatnot, right? So you could go ahead and add in like let's make this a little fancier. Let's just go to Nucleo. Where is it? Is it running? Oh, there it goes. Love Nucleo, but it's one of the slowest apps ever to launch. Okay. Just look at files. Let's go here and not now. Let's just do small 16 image. Let's do a file image. What? All right. Here's a bunch of, and that's actually some interesting ones. All right. Do JPG. What sort of files do I have in that depot? I have JPEGs, PNGs, and a zip. Okay, so here, let's do, I'm gonna do this. So we'll do JPG. Oops. I'm gonna say copy as SVG. All right. And we're gonna go into here. And what I'm gonna do here is we're gonna add in, we're gonna get a little fancy. There's probably more ways to do this, but I think this is maybe the more approachable way to do it. So I'm going to add in a conditional in here. And if you notice, we have do we not have the extension? Isn't there? Let's do file mim type, I guess. We could do file mime. Okay.
Yeah, you have to take apart the MIME type.
Darn it. Why didn't I add extension? Why didn't I do that? That'd have been nice.
You can also take the file name and then do the last, do the taking it apart. But
I was trying to make it as simple as possible, though.
yeah, I'd like to have the extension. That'd be nice.
All right, let me file a feature request because I think that would be nice. Let's add it. I'm going to add extension to depot and file.
Did you fix whatever issue you said you found in Loop Depot when you were?
Yes. Yeah. None of this, what I just did right now, would have worked 3 days ago. There was a
good thing I had no clue.
Yes. Yeah. So, all right. All right. So I will add in the future. You'll be able to do something like file dot probably ext just to keep it short equals, and then you could do like JPG, right? So you'll be able to do something like that. Okay. But that isn't available to us right now. So we're gonna have to do. Okay. I'm gonna get a little fancy here, guys, if you don't mind. Sorry. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. All right. Save me some. What the heck? There it is. Okay. All right. All right, GPT. Watch this. All right.
Assing
There we go.
spelled it wrong.
Oh, did I? Oh, okay. Oh, I seen. Yeah. Well, it did it that way. I would have done like a split on the slash, but this is actually better because you could do, if it equals JPEG, you can also do JPEG. And okay, this is better. Okay, that's fine. Let's copy this. All right. All right, we'll do. I'm gonna copy that, and we're gonna add this to. Let's just add it to some HTML on the page. HTML, if I can read. There it goes. So this is going to be the file mime, I think. Right? That one was. Yes. Okay. So now I have an extension variable. All right. That, yeah, will get a JPEG, PNG, GIF, WebP. Oh, zip isn't there. We'll have to add zip. Let me add zip really quick. What is zip? The it's application zip. Okay. And that's all I have. I have JPEG, PNG, and zip. Okay. So application zip has an extension of zip. There we go. All right. So now I can do this. So now I have if extension equals JPEG. Now we're going to get back to where we were doing originally. I'm going to put in a where's my SVG of, wow, that's a bigger SVG than I thought it was going to be. Oh man, it made it ginormous. Oh, I forgot to add the width equals 24, 16, height equals 16. There we go. So we got a nice little JPEG logo. If the extension equals JPEG, and then let's do an else if rule, and we're just gonna copy that. Oh, and it's not file.ext, it's just ext. Because we're creating the variable. Ext equals PNG. Okay, and if it's PNG, we're going to go to Nucleo and get a PNG logo. We're going to copy as SVG. I need to add in width equals 16. Height equals 16. Let's copy that so I have to do it later. And then we'll do one more. Else if ext equals zip. Okay. We're going to do a different header, and that we're going to get a zip icon. And I need my width and height. All right, there we go. Save. There we go. And then what we can do is we'll do an else condition for if it's unknown essentially. So if there's like a catch-all, we'll just do a is there like a generic file? Something that is. I'll just do this one. How about that? It would be nice if there was one that was similar. I don't see one. Let's do that. At least it's similar aspect ratio. There we go. All right, so let's publish that. Does this make sense to everybody? So this obviously got a lot more complex where I'm looking at the extension of the file, and then I'm outputting the same header but with a different SVG for each instance, right? And voila, we got JPEG, PNG, JPEG, 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 zip.
Okay.
Any questions? And here,
Yeah,
let's show. Remember how every file could have a comment? Okay. Let's just here, I'm going to go ahead and I'll add another header stack below, maybe just at the bottom below here, and let's just make that a paragraph. Okay. And we're just going to do file dot comments. Okay. And I think that shows up. It's file dot comments, right? Or file dot com. Yeah, comments. Okay. So let's publish that. Okay. Now there were no comments, but if we were to go into each one, let's say I go into here and I add in a comment. Hello world. Okay. And I close that. Okay. If I were to go into here and refresh now. Oh, I didn't, maybe I didn't save that. Oh, so I added hello world to that one, right? So maybe we could do like add in a little padding or something like that, or yeah, let's do like padding left 64. I don't know if that's probably did me too much. Let's do like 32.
Put it inside your loop.
No, because well, it is inside my loop.
Oh.
But I don't need to have it for each instance because they all share the same thing. They all have comments, right? So here I'm just at the top, I'm just looping through and creating the line that contains each file name. And then below that, this is going to happen for every single file. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Because it needs to be a little closer, and there needs to be a little bit more spacing between the files.
Yeah, you know, like I probably there's you know definitely some margin there, right? So you know, we probably do like remove bottom margin on that, right? But then that would make it really tight. But you know, we can see what it looks like. Oh, okay. So interesting. So see, underneath every single one of these is an empty one of these, whether or not it has text or not, but a paragraph tag exists there, right? So if we didn't want that to happen, we could just go ahead and put another conditional. And we could say if file comments, right? So basically we could say if file dot comments. So basically, oops, if I type it right though. So I'm saying if file.comments, which means if there are comments, so if there is anything typed in there, then display this, else it's going to do nothing. All right, so let's publish that.
Well, by the time I learn all this stuff, I'm going to know something about code. I don't know if I like that.
So there we go. That makes sense. Obviously, you play with spacing. That's obviously too tight, right? So, you know, but yeah, we're getting somewhere.
And you can do spacing with the swatch, right?
Yeah, you can do swatches, or yeah. Here I used a utility class, but yeah, swatches. Yep.
Okay.
You could also use, I mean, you could use instead of, you know, you could use block grid here, and then you could have a little bit control of the spacing with block grid, right? If you wanted, and at that point you could have a grid of files, right? So here, I mean, if anyone want to see that, we can do that really quick. That's super easy. So we can create, let's just create a block grid down here. Here, we'll add some spacing above so there's difference. So let's see, T64. Okay, so there's a little space on top. Okay. So here, let's just duplicate this. So we're going to go into here. Okay. And edit full width. If you're ever using a loop inside block grid, always do full width in edit mode. It's going to make your life so much easier. All right. So what we're going to do here is in my block grid cell, we're going to go ahead and I'm actually just going to move all of this in my block grid cell. Like that. And because of that, I don't think we need, I don't think I need this padding left anymore. Okay. And so my block grid is set to be 2 columns by 4 columns, and on large, I will just stick with 4 columns. So let's publish that. Now I have a grid, right? Obviously it creates a grid, and then you can add more. Probably need some more gutters or whatnot. A little bit more spacing. Publish that.
Is this documented somewhere?
You're watching it.
Okay.
Would it be possible to strip the extension, the .jpg and so on, from the displayed names so that there's just 3D stacks and Adobe stock, blah, blah, the number, without the .jpg in the end?
Is that possible? Sure, it's possible. Here, let's also another thing we could do is here, let's do, I'm going to do BG white, shadow, right? Just so you can kind of see, publish that. All right, now I got a little card for each one. All right, so let's play with that. So we have access to, I don't think I have a base name. Do I have, let's see, inside twig filters. Base name. Aha. I added base name. Oh, look at, I even have an example with file. Oh, that's going to give me the base name with the path though. I need, that gives me the dir name. I don't think that's going to, here, let's try it. Let's do file name, pipe, base name. I don't think that's going to work. Let's try it. I might need to create a, I think that's a good filter to have. I'll probably have to create a filter for that. Where? Yeah, that doesn't strip the extension. Yeah, we'll have to do like a base file name or something like that.
Why would you want to strip the extension?
Just to have
because
kind
it
of
doesn't look nice.
Yeah, just a user-friendly name, you know, so it's 3D stacks, you know, instead of 3D stacks.jpg, you know, like it already has the icon, but you know.
I could make a big icon above the name, displaying a PDF file, for example. And
Yeah.
underneath,
that's a great example. Yeah. So you could do
only the name without .pdf, since the symbol says that it's a PDF.
Yep.
The icon.
Yes.
So it looks nicer.
Yeah. Here, let's continue on with his idea. So we would do let's do an SVG stack. Has that SVG in it. that point, actually, I can, I don't need my width and height because I can control it in the stack. All right, 64. Yeah, something like that. Then we could do block grid, align content, center. And then at that point, the file name itself is actually generic. And then the SVG would be unique for each one. So let's go ahead and just get that out. Right. Now, obviously, you'd probably want to have a link around the whole thing. We can figure that out, though. Hold on, let's one thing at a time. Okay. And I guess we don't have an else, but well, I guess we gotta do a proper job here. Okay, and I don't need all the file names here because it's displayed down here. So now we have we're changing and creating all the the icons, and then we have the name and then the comments below if we have comments. And actually here, what we'll do is, okay, well, I know, let's say make this header, let's make it like an H4, so it's a little bit bigger. Okay. And then I'm gonna remove the link here. Let's cut that so I can have it. And then what I can do is I'm gonna add in a link container. Link container that goes around the entire thing, right? So you can click on, maybe not the comments, but maybe you can click on the entire thing. Maybe comments, fine, leave it in there, right? And then the link container, that contains our macro. Okay. And yeah, let's publish that. Whoops. Uh-oh, I broke something. Why break? I went too fast. That's what I do. Let's see if that did it. What did I do here?
Some of your ifs use double quotes, some of them use single quotes. Sometimes that seems to make a difference. I don't know.
Interesting. Here, let's oh, I know what it is. Inside links, funny enough, it didn't have an error on that before, but if you use double quotes inside of a this is a Rapid Weaver bug. If you use double quotes inside of a link, that will break things many times. So let's try that. Oh, that's what it was.
That looks nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, some of these aren't fantastic, but yeah, we're getting there, right? Okay, here for fun, let's go ahead and try to. Let's see if we can get the base name without me adding that feature. For right now, at least. I know we can do it with Twig. So here, let's go to our friend ChatGPT again. Okay. No,
Have to leave for 5 minutes. I'll be back and watch this afterwards.
Okay.
5 minutes.
Okay.
See you.
Probably can do a split. Yep, split. That's exactly what I thought it was going to do. We'll space this out so it's easier for you guys to read. When, all right. So what this is doing is it's saying get the file name, split based on a dot, and then give me the first part of that. So, you know, obviously most files are name dot extension. So we're going to split that string up with dots. Now, if you have a file name that also has a dot in it, this wouldn't like that. But for the most part, this will work great where you have a, you know, a segment where the first segment when you split by the dot is the name. There you go. Pretty cool. And if you click on it, it still generates the download. Good stuff. And in terms of like these cards where these file names get cut off and whatnot, you can use some CSS. We could, you know, you could do like text wrap stuff, or you could do overflow hidden on this stuff, so the name would just get cut off or something like that. You could also do, actually, I have a utility class. What's the utility class? I just, who remembers the name of the utility class that I added recently? Let's go find it. Text truncate. There he goes, right there. There's also text no wrap, text wrap. Let's try text wrap. Let's see what that does. So I'm going to add to this. Let's do text dash wrap. We're going to publish. There it goes. So that at least makes the, I mean, it breaks the word up, but hey, it looks better than it going off the edge of the card. Obviously, I mean, some of these file names are seriously ugly. So yeah, you see this one has the nice little comments down there. And yeah, it works for nice. I like it. Try to remove bottom on that. Remove bottom margin. Any questions?
No, I'll just have to come back to this later and watch it 4 more times and then try it myself.
Would anyone be interested in staying around and me trying to do something more advanced and doing folders?
Sure.
No?
I gotta go get my son, guys.
Okay. See you later, Ryan.
See y'all.
Here, just for fun. I don't think it would take me that long. Let's see. I will do. All right, let's shrink that. We're gonna do a details. All right, details. Okay, and we're gonna do. Let's just do MT64 to give it some space. All right. And then in details, we're going to, first off, I need to remember what happens when I have a folder. I think the mem type is set to folder. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. So we need to create a folder. Okay, so I have my folder. And if I look at that, pretty sure the mem type is folder. And then if I go ahead and but I could did not I thought I had moved file. I guess I didn't finish that implementation. All right, let's go ahead and I will upload another file into that folder. I don't know since I used Depot here. Oh, it's thinking. What happened? Oh, all right, hold on. Yeah, let's see if I. Oh, there it goes. Oh, what happened there? Oh, uh-oh. Uploading into the Depot isn't working. That's too bad. I mean, maybe I'm not going to do this right now. I upload files to Depot at all. Let's see. I can upload to the top level. Let me try that same file inside here. Oh, that one worked. Okay. There, let's remove it from there. Okay. All right, so now I have a folder and I at least have one file in the folder. All right. Let's add two files. Let's add not an image. Actually, let's do the CS. No, that's kind of a funky name. It's fine. Do I have anything that has a decent name? Here, PDF. How big is that? 1.8. That should work. All right, well, that works. All right. So now I have a folder that has two files and then a bunch of other files. All right. All right. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to look at that structure of that thing. I think the mem type set to folder. I just want to verify that. Wait, no, TCMS data. Depot JJ. Whoa, big type. All right. Folder. And mem folder. Perfect. Yes. All right. So whenever we have a folder, the mem type is set to folder. Okay. And then
I think you can see it in the depot, but you hadn't saved it yet before, so.
oh, really? Oh, yeah, I think you're no, it just
Oh,
says
no,
yeah, no, it just
okay,
says folder. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, well.
Okay.
I thought so.
Okay. So we have a block grid. All right, let's actually we have this. All right, so we have oops. I don't want to duplicate that. All right. Actually, I'm going to go into container and chuck all this into a container just so I can have a MT64. All right. Oh, and then here we have if file.mem. Oh yes, we do file.mem equals folder. All right. All right. So we're gonna do not that. Sorry, that was stupid. A conditional. And we're going to do if file dot mem equals folder. Okay. And then we're going to do else. Okay. So if it's a folder, okay, I'm going to display this details that has file dot name. Okay. And then inside of that folder, well, first, okay, if it's not a folder, then it's else, and we need to do this conditional block. And I'm going to do something what I was going to do earlier and just do that bullet list just for fun. We're going to do list. Okay. Oh wait. No, never mind. We're just going to do this same conditional here. We're going to display the file name. We're not going to display comments right now. We're going to keep it simple. All right. So now I have, so if it's a folder, we need, we're going to display a details, which is a folder. And then if it's not, it's going to display files. All right. Then if we're in a folder, this is where it's going to get kind of crazy. We need to loop through the files in that folder. Okay. So in order to do that, we need to have another depot loop. All right. So we're going to loop through depot, but in this case, now we're going to loop through file.files. So we're going to loop through preloaded data, and it is file.files. Right. And I knew that if we look at, oh, I closed it. Shit. Did I? Oh, I did. Let's do file, open recent. Oh, there. Nice. All right. So we had inside depot, we have files. And then if we find the folder, here I had a folder, and folder.files contains other files, right? So we loop through folder.files, we'll get more files. All right. So so we have a loop depot inside of a loop depot, okay? And then at that point, we are just going to do this conditional. Now, this is limiting in that it isn't infinite, because at that point, you would then need to do another logic for if there's folders inside that folder and so on and so forth, right? So with this approach, you are limited. To be unlimited, you need a recursive function, which isn't possible in stacks, okay? That you need code for, okay? But you can at least do one level of folders here. I think that will do it. Let's see. Oh, wait. I didn't. All right. So we have file.files. Interesting. I wonder if I don't use the loop depot. There might be a conflict using loop depot inside of a loop depot. So I'm going to use just a straight up for loop. And we're going to, do, we're going to call this file, and then file.files. Let's try that. Oh, hold on, cancel. I'm going to remove that. Oh. All right. So here we can do so for everything in here, let's just do another container that has a margin left, or yeah, margin left of, I don't know, 24 pixels, something like that. Just to indent it. So now I have all the list of files that were in that folder, and then my folder is expandable, and I have all the list of files in that folder.
Great. Can
Okay.
you put this online, Joe?
Yes.
Yeah. Save it and put it online.
All right, Matthias, you left. If you're curious,
Yeah.
I stripped the extension here.
I saw it. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, it's just here. Um, it's just this little twig here.
Split.
Split in first, and get the first part of the
Yeah.
split.
Okay. Okay. Great. Great
Right.
solution. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Any questions?
No.
Test on Friday, Dave.
What's that?
Test on Friday. That's pretty
Well,
cool stuff.
I'll show the project to you if I get it done by Friday.
Okay, cool.
Well, that part of it, the whole thing won't be done, but
Nice. Any questions, or anyone need help with clarification on things on how I did that download macro? That could have, definitely had a little bit of trickery in that logic there. Hopefully you guys understood this block grid one, which is pretty simple. And this one's pretty cool. And it should be dynamic. If I go ahead and add another folder, now, one thing that's interesting, I wonder if I were to, add some, like, because right now the folders are always at the bottom. I wonder if there was, wonder if there's some logic for if I could, you could probably sort them alphabetically or something like that. Wondering if we did. Oh, here, sort. So we sort by name.
You're going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh, oops! I added the sort to the wrong one. I wanted it down here. Sort by
yeah,
name.
this is a whole lot more involved than Total CMS 1 was for a little depot thing.
Yeah, well, like, so Total CMS 1 Depot had, had a content stack that just kind of listed out a grid. This obviously gives you a lot more flexibility, but like I said, I will have a content stack, soon. Oh, there we go. So this sorts now by name. So we have folders within, obviously there was no files inside that one, but we can fix that. So if we go into another folder, and then upload a file into that. It does not like some files. I don't know what's going on there. Or it seems like this file. Oh, now it doesn't. Oh, I think that happened before I added a folder and then I couldn't immediately add a file into it. Oh, and well, there we go. That's weird. Now, yep. So now another folder has a file in it. Pretty cool.
One thing I added was if you create a collection of the SVGs for the file types with the IDs equal to the extensions, then you can, instead of having all those ifs in there, you can just use the you can get the SVG for the file type by just putting the ID into that other collection and get the SVG for it. So you don't have
Oh,
to
okay.
have, right. So if you don't have, if you had, you don't know how many different types you're going to have, you can do it that way.
Okay. Yeah, that works. That's a good idea. Cool. Thanks for sharing. Well, anything else, guys? Total CMS related or not? Happy to help out.
Can I show you the squeeze box?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Here, let's see. Okay. Are you seeing my?
Yes.
So this is just a simple page I put together. So the SVG symbols in a text field, you get the filter tags and a search. If I put them in an F6 accordion, then they just line up nicely and work fine. But if you put them in the squeeze box, they do this. It doesn't treat it as if it's a title. It treats it as if it's the icon. And I mean, it's literally.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. All right. So that is outputting SVG tags into the squeeze box. Okay. What if you were to wrap that in like a span in span tags?
Put them closer together, but still treats them as icons as opposed to the title.
In terms of like, so in terms of the size, like what?
Well, no. So like here, it's rotating them.
Oh, got it. Okay.
It's animating them and picking up the color from the color of the icon as opposed to color of the text. Let's see. I didn't put any.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. See here, here it lines up as part of the title. Here it puts it in the same layer or whatever as your icon.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay. And that's nothing I could do in Total CMS, but I could ship probably an update to.
No, it's squeeze
box. Yeah, that.
Yeah, it's a squeeze box issue, not a Total CMS issue.
That would be good in case someone wanted an SVG with their title. That makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, I know I can style this the same way, but the reason that you made squeeze box is because it's painful.
Yeah, it is
to get the accordion.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
Can you just do you have drawers too? Can you test it to make sure it doesn't do that in drawers?
I didn't buy drawers. I just got the squeeze box. I just went to I looked because I thought the same thing. yesterday, but I didn't get yours.
Well, drawers doesn't have it doesn't have the animated icon. I think that's a Squeezebox only thing. So I would think that's only a Squeezebox issue. Cool. Thanks for sharing. You had another issue. What was the other one?
Oh, the when you use style text, it always adds a 16 pixel bottom margin that I couldn't figure out how to get rid of. But the more important issue for the Total CMS was that when I use trim words, it gets rid of that 16 pixel. So if you've done your layout and everything based on the fact that there is a 16 pixel, and then I added in the trim words, it gets rid of that 16 pixel. Because I was trying to do a listing, and you want everything nice and tight. I couldn't get it tight, but then as I added the trim words, it did bring it up nice and tight. So
okay,
because you're trying to separate the styling from the texting, so it seems like trim words is actually changing some style.
Do you have an example that I could see of without that, or without the trim words?
Let's see. I don't think I have it out. I'd have to. Let's see. Where did I? My page is too messy right now.
No problem. Maybe if you show me on Friday, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll show you on Friday.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, test on Friday.
Sweet guys,
Okay.
anything else?
Going to bed now.
You going to bed now? I filled your brain. You have so much to dream about.
Yeah. It was very good today. Very, I've learned a lot. Yeah.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Excellent. Good.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Take care. Hey, gents. Anything else?
No, nap time.
No. Cool. Okay, guys. You take care. Have a great rest of your week. Hopefully, we'll see some of you guys on Friday. The Hangout. Take care, guys.